Hello, I'm Joshua Farnsworth and welcome back to my workshop. I have got a very easy project for you today. It's also a project that's very useful. It is called a bench hook. So a bench hook is a little appliance that is used to hook on the edge of your bench to provide you a spot to be able to hold your workpiece while you're using a crosscut saw to cut off a piece of wood. Obviously that saw needs to be sharpened. So a bench hook is very simple. There's one main rule that I have for it, and that's that you use some scrap wood. This isn't a piece of furniture. This is just an appliance that's going to be in your workshop, and you're going to be cutting into it. So this is an old piece of oak that I used several years ago to build one. And it doesn't need to be anything fancy, like I say. So the key is that you don't want it to be longer than the work surface that you're on, than your bench. This workbench top is 13 inches wide, so it looks like this is a couple inches shy of that after it's been cut. About 6 or 7 inches wide. It doesn't have to be exact, just use scrap that you have. And anywhere from a ½ inch to, I don't know, inch and a half, inch and a quarter. This piece that I have here came off of 2x8 from a southern yellow pine from a hardware store. I milled it up, and actually that reminds me, this would be a really great project to use in concert with the video and tutorial I did on squaring up a board with hand tools, because you don't want to just have a piece of wood that you squared up and set it on your shelf and said, I squared this up with with hand tools. Use it for something. Use it for this. So I'm going to take this board and these little end pieces here, these cutoff pieces. I've found that 1.5 inches works really well. So I'll take my rule, my folding rule, and mark 1.5 inches there, 1.5 inches there. Again, it doesn't have to be precise, so don't stress out. And I take my tri-square, score a line there, and one there. Okay. So now you can see we've got, I hope that's not breaking any copyright rules. That's my ringtone. All right, so we will cut those off now on the miter saw. If you have a table saw, that'd be even easier. And if you squared your board up with power tools, that's even easier. No problem there. So I'm going to cut these off, and then one of these I'm going to cut about 3/4 inch off, and that's to give that little area right here for your saw to track. So let's go ahead and cut it. Okay, as you can see, got the pieces cut, and this next part is absolutely unnecessary, but I think it looks kind of cool. I like to book match the pieces, just how they came off. You can see that's kind of neat. And the same right here. Anyways, let's put a little glue on this. You can use any kind of glue, especially since this is, kind of a disposable project, piece of furniture. It's not going to be around for 100 or 200 years. So I'm using what I had on hand, some hide glue, which is historical if it makes you feel better. So I just brush a bit on there. There's no need to add screws or nails because glue will hold really well. All right, and then I like to put it here since I'm right-handed. I guess if you're left-handed, you could put it on the other side. All right. You need probably about 4 clamps is good. A little tricky. Let's see. So just kind of use your fingers to feel and make sure it's smooth when you're squeezing it down, that it's flush along the front here and along the side over here. All right, there we go, and then we'll flip it over. Let the glue tack a little bit and wipe it down, or wipe it down immediately. It's up to you. All right, so we'll just let this sit for a couple hours. Actually, I'll just let it sit overnight. I don't need the clamps for anything, and then I'll show you how I kind of finish it up. All right, it's the next day. We can take the clamps off and see how this new bench hook works. So, I don't see any point in sanding it or putting a finish on it. You can pretty much just use this straight how it is. That's it. It works. You can see it looks pretty nice. The only thing that I do like to do is just take a block plane and just knock off some of these corners, just so it'll last a little bit longer and not look too raggedy. You can see this, just not too hard. Just make sure your block plane is sharp. Mostly just these corners on the cutoffs parts. You don't even need to really do the bottom. So anyways, that is it. That is a bench hook. Looks pretty close to this one. So anybody can do this, and like I say, this is a great project to do if you're going to be squaring up a board with that video. So please leave your comments below, and thanks for watching.
This is Joshua Farnsworth. If you're interested in learning traditional woodworking with hand tools, visit my website at woodandshop.com, where you can find free video tutorials, workshop tours of amazing traditional woodworkers, and tool buying guides. You can ask questions and share your projects with thousands of woodworkers on my free traditional woodworking forum. Make sure you subscribe to my regular blog posts, and also check out my 10 steps for getting started in traditional woodworking. Enjoy!